Welcome back, survivors. I'm the SurvivalVis, and we return to the Long Dark, where last episode I'm making a decision that is probably going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be a very smart decision or a good decision with the goal I have in mind, or it's going to be absolutely horrible and I should not have done this. But I'm going to leave ballistic vest behind in order to try to speed us up and along for trying to go through and get closer to the far territories. We've still got a ways off to go. I just realized I don't have any water with me, although, oddly enough, the MRE did have a bit of water to it. But yeah, I'm going to leave this behind, try to speed us up a little bit without having its weight slowing us down. And I'm pretty sure I've looted all around here. Yeah, so we're good to head out and try to get our bearings with things. If I remember right, we're in the coastal highway region, and we're actually kind of up in a corner I don't really remember coming to all that often. There's this little trailer here that's just a bit down from that mine. And it looks like the road winds back down, but I think what I need to do is get more, kind of back up that way. Oh, I see something down there, though. Okay, well, we've only basically got one road to follow. I don't want to try taking the super quick way down, because with me being so overloaded with weight right now, I have a feeling like spraying risks would be very easy and common to happen. So I'm going to just try and see... Does this go anywhere? Like, I thought this was another road, but it doesn't look like it keeps going forward. Maybe it slopes down a little bit better up here? Maybe a little bit? God, I do not know where I really am, if I'm honest. Oh, wait. Okay, that's like the log sort, I believe. I guess we'll just kind of keep following this for a little while. Or... yeah, you know what? It's stupid, but I'm going to try going down this way. Just because with the log sort here, I know there, like, if I do get a sprain or something, I need a rest. There will be a spot to do so. My thinking is, with this already here, it shouldn't be too hard to find the roads leading up and out towards Mystery Lake. So, just hopefully going slow like this and staying crouched, we can avoid the sprain risks. I'm also hoping to maybe going downhill, it's more easy to avoid them than going uphill. Actually, that might actually be the case for the game. I never really put a lot of thought into it, but I think a lot of times when I've had the sprain risks, or the sprains happen, it's all been trying to go uphill. So that's a little bit of information that might be handy. Downhill, it's a lot easier. But yeah, this is the log sort area. I think I need to keep going a little bit more down the road, and then there'll be some ways leading up into the hills. I do hear the wolves, though, but I think I'm going to try checking around here a little bit first. See if we can find just a bit of water to keep that going, and we'll try to aim for Mystery Lake before the episode's end. We're definitely moving so much faster with having lost the ballistic vest, but the rest of this survival kit, actually, truth be told, this is the road I think I want to take upwards. With all the tools now I've got on me, there's nothing else really weight-wise I could see dropping. Yeah, this is the log sort. So we'll just quickly take a peek around for anything.
Useful in here.
Nah, leave that behind. Ooh, what is... we'll leave the dog food. I'm not that desperate. We will have the soda, though. Truth be told, I might just go off again with that. Nothing in there. Nothing in there. Leave the salt behind. I'll just take a quick look in the fridge for any easy food.
Can't have too much water.
Okay, well, you know what? That'll work. We'll take that and we'll head off. Again, I've got so much on me. The big focus right now is just trying to get to the far territories to actually live up to the series' namesake. Because aside from the one time we were in the Broken Railroad, I've not actually made it to any of the far territory geography stuff. We have seen a few items, like all the cooking stuff. We've seen a little bit of, like, trying to repair the transmitter towers or the radio towers. Haven't actually fully done one yet. trying to think if there's anything else far territory-wise I've kind of shown or gone over content. Oh, the ptarmigans, they are actually a pretty big one. Actually, you know what? I wonder, because of the way I went down, maybe this little path, I mean, it doesn't look like a way up, but maybe if you had something like the crampons on, that would be your way up to the trailer more easily, because the birds are just circling right around there. And I think we were able to see them from the trailer where we left the vest. Yeah, I'm not... Oh, actually, that's the body right there. No, I've got the hunter's revolver, I've got the rifle, I've even got the bow and a variety of arrows. So we're not going to worry too much about trying to, like, pick up more loot. We just got to keep working our way through. And once we can get to Mystery Lake, that one should be a pretty quick bit of travel. Because one of the nice things about Mystery Lake is as soon as we hit that, we're going to have the landmark of the railroad tracks we can constantly follow, basically right through to everywhere I want to go. And you guys are circling, and I think it's because there's something down off the bridge here. Yeah, I think I'm slowing down more because of how tired we're getting. As we've got, what? We're getting close to a quarter. My thinking is, if we can get up towards the transition area, get through the transition area, then we should be able to be just right out at the hydro dam in Mystery Lake. We'll use that for the night. Because I think with the pacing we're going at, we should be able to hit it before we get too slowed down. It's just that we do have a ways to go before we might be up towards transition spots. Okay, the road does fork, but I think they actually basically like fork out and then meet back up further up here, so it doesn't really matter which way of these I take. I was just looking to see if maybe there was a wolf lurking more on one or the other. I do actually have to admit that 4 times so far on the coastal highway, not that many wolves. It makes me think the longer you're in an area, maybe more wolves slowly spawn in. Almost like they pick up that there's activity and a chance for food, and they start coming and swarming to where you stay at. I highly doubt it, but I'm just going to be thankful for the bit of good luck where we haven't had to deal with too many of them. And we still do have all kinds of ammunition to deal with them, so it's not going to be too big of a problem. But I still do want to be a bit careful with having left the vest behind. I think if I could eventually get... I'm trying to remember. I know there's a moose hide satchel you can make if you do manage to take down a moose and let the hide cure for the 12 days it takes. Or I think it's 12 days. You can make that. That gives you 5 kilograms extra you can carry. So that would easily help offset the ballistic vest. But I think there's also some backpack items or other ways to help your full carry weight tucked away in more remote corners of the regions. Well, not every region has, but I think Ash Canyon has something squirreled away you could find. As tempting as the trailer is, we're not losing any heat. And I think we're actually pretty close to where I want to be at for reaching the transition area, so we'll just keep going. I'm hearing all kinds of howls, though. Okay, but if we keep following this, I think it loops up, snakes a little bit. And then we'll see, like, almost like a logging... Well, maybe not a logging camp, more like a rail camp. This is going back to some of the oldest parts of the game, though. It's like Mystery Lake is the original ground zero for the Long Dark. It is the region everything started off from. And then it was coast. Then it was the transition zone, which I don't think it's changed all that much. I don't think it was an instant transfer from Mystery Lake to Coastal Highway. I think there's always, like, whatever the transition zone name is. But Coastal Highway was the second ever zone added, or second ever big region added to the game. And these are your true starting points where everything else branched off from. We're making decent time. Yeah, I'm hoping we can keep our stamina to hold out until I can get to Mystery Lake and the Hydro Dam. Because if I can get a good rest in and we get ourselves fully rested up, that should send our carrying capacity back up to its full amount, and that'll mean we should be moving even faster when we're able to go. Or when we're on the trek again. But yeah, so far, The Long Dark is easily my favorite survival game. Its hard focus is entirely on survival, and every choice you make has to be weighed with, like, consequences and negatives to it. I do think because of the Far Territory stuff, adding things like the Ptarmigan...
It's gonna get a lot colder soon.
I'm trying to think of what else has been added. I know the Ptarmigan, as much as they're tucked away in more remote areas, the fact that you can have this extra insulation layer and the food, I do feel like it's made Long Dark a bit easier to approach. And fire-hardened arrows, it's made it easier to approach and easier to survive in, like, Stalker difficulty. But I think that also does help for it, because it encourages more so you feel yourself getting better and starting to thrive instead of just struggling to survive. But yeah, this is where I wanted to hit as, like, a good landmark. Because again, this is like the logging rail camp. And the if I wanted shelter, we could go to the trailer there. But again, because we're doing pretty good for our temperature, we're going to focus on trying to get through another spot. Now, it's also one of the spots that has kind of one of the most wary transitions out of any area you can go to. Like, as we were going through Keeper's Pass, as much as the rope bridge seemed like it was a little bit harrowing to try to do, there's something up ahead that's even more so. Like, visually wise, it is definitely nerve-wracking, but actually, like, playing, thankfully the Long Dark doesn't have platforming to it, and it's going to be just a simple walk across it, but be in position of, like, having to make that crossing, I would not envy a person having to do that. You know, we've got maybe a quarter of our stamina left. It'll be tight, but I think we should be able to get through. I just truthfully can't remember the full steps to take through the transition area. I do like the little buffers between zones as well, like having the mine between Coastal Highway and Pleasant Valley. I think they just help add, like, a little bit of a breather of, like, sometimes they can be a safe space, other times they're a little bit more dangerous, but it does feel like you are traveling greater distances with these zones existing as they are. Like, it's not instantly big zone to big zone, big zone to big zone. Almost feels like you could search out through a big area, move to a little area, get that cleared, and then it's, okay, I'm prepped, I'm ready, let's go to another major area next. And speaking of, let's see what this is called. I'm just going to have a little bit of water. Ravine. Raven Falls Railway Line. That'll help for the throat. No, I'm going to leave the coal behind. Thanks to the water we picked up, we shouldn't have to worry about making any for a little bit longer. And here we go. I also love the art style of The Long Dark. Like, very rarely would I ever say the graphics make the game. But when it comes to The Long Dark's case, just the way the visuals are presented, it's just adds so much more to this feeling of, like, the game. Okay, yeah, this is it here. You have to carefully walk along the railway tracks there. That's the worst part. The rest of this is easy, but it's just that there. You have to go on the single track going along. And then the creaking doesn't help underneath you as you're walking too. But again, it's things like this where it's like, what if you're too heavy? Would you actually have a board break on you? Or if you're on thin ice, would it crack more? There's little touches like that where I could see them getting added in as something. They could be added in, or they just would be left as is. It's nothing that would, like, really add that much. I feel like if you were to really want to crank, like, the survival realism, the weight the player is carrying could have an impact on, like, a transition zone like that, where there's, like, a kilogram weight limit, and as you feel, like, too much weight, you can feel it bending underneath you, and if you tried, it would snap and you'd fall right through. I wonder if that's ever something they would do. Almost kind of make the player have to do, again, more decision-making for survival of, okay, you're too heavy, what do you leave behind if you really want to go this way? And truth be told, actually, I want to check the world. Because, yeah, we're in Ravine right now. I wonder if you could go coastal highway to the inlet, to the Muskeg, or to somewhere else. Because, like, I don't know if there's multiple connections between a lot of these spots. I know Desolation Point, I think, only has the single way to go. I don't know if everything, like, bottlenecks for the Ravine to go to Mystery Lake between coastal highway, or you could use Bleak... Actually, truth be told, I don't know if I've ever been to Bleak Inlet. I don't think I have been. I think it's an area that has, No, wait, hang... No, there should be a lot more to this region than... Okay, yeah, we have a lot more to go still. I was going to say, I don't remember there being a transition that quickly after that railway line. Or the rail bridge there. But what I was about to say is, I think Bleak Inlet is another one of the areas that has Timberwolf packs. And I'm in no rush to go back to dealing with them. I feel like their morale should be easier to break per day. But each new day, it does come back and they do pose a problem that have to be dealt with. They're persistent, even if they aren't, like, super strong or, like, super ready to go all in at you. We'll just get through the tunnel and see how much longer we've got to go. It shouldn't be all that much further before we're at the next transition. Or maybe it will be. God, it has been a long time since I have been through this area. I can't remember if there's been any changes or not. Oh, but the stars are all out. Thankfully not an Aurora night, so if there is any wolves to deal with, I don't think they'll be as aggressive. Because I think that's what the Aurora does when it's active. As much as you have the benefit of electricity and that working in a lot of spots, I think you also have the wildlife gets more aggressive and more easily provoked. So it's kind of the case of Aurora Night, use the electricity, work with stuff you couldn't, and avoid being outside if possible. Or at least avoid areas where wildlife might be. But just a view like that. Well, maybe I'll have to try to find a good screenshot or something to use as, like, the wallpaper for my desktop. It's because the art style is really, really nice. Okay, we're still doing all right. I mean, we are starting to slow down a little bit more, though. But I don't think we have too much further before we'll have it nearing the transition into the next region. I'm trying to remember what might be around here. I still want to keep going if we can, until we do hit Mystery Lake. I've just been eyeing or looking around in case there's anywhere like a trailer. Maybe we will take it a little easy. We've been pushing this far. We still do have a fair bit of rest before we will be completely fatigued. Actually, I'm surprised. I still actually have the ability to run, despite like how tired we are. Once we're fully drained of stamina, we'll definitely lose that, but it's nice to know that we can keep going. And again, the temperature is far, far better than I thought it would be. Although, it looks like... Okay, I think I've got to go down this way. Yeah, I think that right there is my way to keep going. And I think because of a lot of the earthquakes and that... Yeah, I think this is going to be my way forward. If I can get on top of it. One thing that I do think the Long Dark could use a little bit more time with is figuring out the terrain geometry a bit. Because it can be a little iffy to work with. Okay, we're on here. And there it is. Yeah, carefully onto this. And then across. Nope. Oh. Come on, let me on. There we go. Yeah, the terrain geometry is still a little clashing at points.
Wonder if this is any good to eat.
We'll take the energy bar for a bit of food. And the soda, because again, that's... Actually, no, we'll even have the soda right now. Probably should check that before I did have it, but you know what? Okay, we're good. Yeah, looking back, okay, that was a hard stop there, so that still is present. You have to do a little bit of a loop around or a detour in order to keep going. But now we are very, very slow. Oh, just a rabbit. God, the wolves in this game have trained me to be wary of anything I see moving on the ground. Even if it's super tiny and should be easily distinguished as a rabbit, it still gets me a little bit wary. Although I do admit, one thing I haven't heard since we've gotten into this region is a single wolf howl. Granted, back, like, along the rail bridge and that, I can see there's no real spot for them. So maybe we have to be more careful up here. Oh. That's... Oh, that's just a stick. I thought for a second that was like a... almost like a blood splatter. I guess maybe way the hunter was bleeding over to the Long Dark a little bit there, and I was thinking that was like, okay, something got attacked, and there's a spray of blood, and we need to be careful. But I think the only blood you'll find is either when you get attacked, or you do wound animals. There's nothing like, as an animal takes down another one, you'll come across patches of blood or that left behind. It might be a neat thing to do, though. Like, actually, that's one thing the game, for as much as it's good with the wildlife, it doesn't really have that the animals, like, sleep at all. At least I don't think they do. Like, you won't really stumble across a spot where you might find, like, say, a bear sleeping in its den, I don't think. Or maybe you would, depending on what the hour of day is. I know the wolves always seem to be active, along with the deer. They never seem to sleep themselves. Yeah, there's where we want to pick things back up with. And carefully up. Yes, there's the rail line again. We're almost through to Mystery Lake. Once we get into the hydroelectric dam, there's not really going to be anything I'm going to go looking for loot-wise. We're, again, so loaded up that anything extra is just going to be a burden. But I'm at least glad to say that we'll have made it through one more zone. Depending on how quickly Mystery Lake goes, we might be able to go from Mystery Lake possibly through the Muskeg. The Muskeg will probably be a straight shot. It's just a fairly long straight shot. But if I can get us back so we're fully rested, we're at max carrying capacity, we might even be able to go through both in the same episode, because I don't know if there's... I don't know if there is a transition zone between Mystery Lake and the Forlorn Muskeg. I know when it comes to the world... Yeah, you can get up to Mountain Town from Mystery Lake, and I think even the Muskeg. But we're not going to go up there for quite a while, if we ever do. I do kind of feel like maybe once I can reach the far territory... Okay, yeah, okay, we're out of our full fatigue there. Yeah, running's impossible. But we've got almost as far as we need to go. It's just going to be a little bit around the curve, and then we should be able to be into the next region. My thinking for the Long Dark for the rest of the series is get to the far territories, spend some time exploring it and seeing what's in there. And I don't know on the next release of the Far Territories update if there will be like a save game wipe or not. I don't think there will be, but I'm not entirely sure. I know before the Far Territories was going to be added, there was warning that the saves wouldn't be compatible, because they were changing up, I think, how the item spawning was, as well as like how the deer would spawn. But yeah, we made it to Mystery Lake. Any one of these trailers will do. I do need to be more careful, because there may be wolves around. But all we've got to do is hop into any one of these that has a bed to them, and get some sleep in. As soon as we're back, 2 howls going off into the night air. Well, again, we made a fairly decent trek with having lost the ballistic vest. We'll have to see if it pays off going forward more. Thankfully, it's pretty deserted around here. So we'll just quickly hop in and end this episode of The Long Dark right here. I know it's pitch black, but it's The Long Dark. It's a lot of dark screens, to be honest. Thank you guys for joining me on this episode of the series. If you liked the video, you should give a like. And if you have any comments, tips, or tricks, you're in the comments right down below. It's a lofty goal, but I want to try to see if we can hit the Far Territories by the end of this week. I don't know if we'll be able to or not. It'll probably all depend on how this next episode will go. Because I'll hopefully have full carrying capacity back. We'll see what our speed is and how many distractions or roadblocks there are on the way. With having the full toolkit of the rifle, the revolver, hatchet, knife, bedroll, I'm not worried too much about looting anything. It's more so just trying to make it through safe and sound without getting attacked by the wolves too often. So we'll see how that goes, and if we're lucky and we can manage that. But thank you guys once again for joining me, and until I catch you all in the next video or episode, survivors, please remember, as always, to take care and stay alive.